Siddha Mahayoga. It is the grand path or the grand yoga system that begins after the Kundalini energy is awakened, which is called Siddha Mahayoga. All the yoga systems, tantric practices, religious practices, philosophies, doctrines, dogmas, etc., which exist in the world today are there to basically wake up the dormant cosmic energy located inside the human body. This can be done directly or indirectly using a wide variety of techniques which somehow activates its reverse mode of destruction or involution. I have elaborated on the various categories of techniques, which are generally used for the purpose of awakening the cosmic energy in one of the chapters. This is the standard cosmic mechanism inside the human body for the purpose of self-realization. Self-realization cannot occur technically by any other means. In fact, it is a gift from the supreme divinity to the human race. The process of awakening of the cosmic energy can be directly experienced by a human being within the body. What else is required for anyone who still entertains any doubts regarding the validity of the theory? Why is destruction or involution necessary? It is necessary because the creation or evolution of the human being needs to be undone by the same cosmic energy so that the underlying substance or the divinity which is enshrined within the self of every human being can be revealed. This is what is called self-realization or salvation. I will subsequently elaborate on how this process of involution or destruction of the psychic occurs in an individual. This supreme primordial force of the cosmos, after having manifested as a human being as the miniature model of the cosmos, remains in a sort of dormant state of the base of cerebrospiral system. The word dormant is used to highlight the fact that the creative phase is already over. However, the primordial energy is never dormant in the exact sense. This force continues to project a world of illusion into a psychic of the human being, and this sustains through the medium of intellect, egoism, the mind, and the five senses. After this energy is woken up by the competent teacher or a guru, it swings into a reverse mode, thereby destroying the psychic of the practitioner of yoga. The supreme force finally dissolves back into the source, the Almighty, thus leaving the human mind filled with absolute knowledge. The nature of the self or the divinity is revealed. So the very primordial force that created human beings needs to undo the creation exactly the same way and in the reverse order. This is the very essence of life, as expounded in a variety of ways all over the world since ancient times. Therefore, without these divine grace, it is not humanly possible to achieve the state of self-realization through one's own effort alone. A person may go and search all the corners of the world, perform the most severe religious practices of the highest order, do anything and everything. Still, it will all be futile. The cosmic energy needs to be woken up first by the self-realized vulnerable teacher or a guru. Till then, all efforts will amount to practically nothing other than providing a temporary peace of mind to the practitioner. That is why absolute self-surrender to the Almighty is generally insisted on in all religion systems of the world, because it is the only way to attain self-realization. Once this cosmic energy is triggered in a human being, all paths will get converged into one grand idea about God for the final salvation of the human being, leading to self-realization. In a nutshell, what I mean to say is after the Kundalini energy is awakened in a person, all the ideas about divinity will undergo a drastic change. This distinction between religious will no longer exist in the mind. You can call this one grand religion or yoga system or a unified theory. All earthly languages which originate from a human intellect have an inherent limitation with regards to the description of something that cannot be grasped by the intellect. Hence, all the religions, philosophies, doctrines, yoga system and so on can only provide different paths or techniques to guide a person up to this point of waking up the dormant cosmic energy. From this point onwards, perception of the Almighty starts converging into one grand idea for all. Let me assure the reader that the very fabric of the mind will get altered very drastically from this point onwards. The very idea of the divinity will undergo a profound change. I have narrated adequately on this aspect in one of the chapters. I have narrated adequately on this aspect in one of the chapters. To put it in plain language, a practitioner of yoga will not even come to know what has hit them. The required transformation in the mind occurs in a flash. The supreme primordial force starts propelling the person towards self-realization without any further voluntary effect. In the case of practitioner of Siddha Mahayoga, this cosmic force is activated by the grace of the Guru or the venerable teacher who is already functioning as a medium of the supreme primordial force for the benefit of humanity. The Guru tampers with this force by using a technique called Shaktipat or descent of the energy. I will subsequently elaborate on this technique in this book. Hence, this yoga system is not an independent yoga system like all other the yoga system which have their own ways and employ their unique techniques to awaken the dormant Kundalini or cosmic energy. However, all parts of various practices will get manifested as one grand path as the realization sets in that all paths lead to the same divinity in the end. Therefore, the very platform that humanity seeks out with the help of various scriptures, religions, philosophies, doctrines, yoga system and tantric practices is already granted to the practitioner of Siddha Mahayoga. This is the reason why it is called the Grand Yoga. However, this higher spiritual platform which has been granted to the practitioner directly through the shower of divine grace from the Guru doesn't bring about self-realization overnight or even over a few years. The benefit of Shaktipat or descent of the divine energy is strictly limited to awakening the Kundalini or the dormant cosmic energy. The awakening of this energy puts the practitioner on the course that prevents them from ever returning to a regular lifestyle. Perhaps it is at this point that the dream of several past births finally fructifies. Awakening of Kundalini energy in a person is an extremely rare phenomenon. In fact, all the worship of God done by the human race is for this purpose. All yoga systems and tantric practices are meant for this purpose only. Without the awakening of Kundalini energy, nothing can happen technically from the spiritual point of view. Usually, no human being is capable enough to affect the awakening or, to put it in better words, to receive this divine grace in one lifetime. Hence, it is the dream or the hard work of several past births that finally culminates in this divine grace. From an earthly point of view, it can be said that nothing spectacular will happen materialistically. However, everything has been granted to the practitioner from the divine point of view. It is a myth among humanity that whenever Kundalini energy is awakened in a person, something extraordinary is bound to happen materialistically. Every reader must be familiar with the fact that any person who goes to the altar of any god in this world basically goes there begging from several materialistic things. It is very rare that a person goes in front of the altar of any god purely seeking the divine grace from the spiritual point of view. Whenever the Supreme Divinity showers its grace, it is in the form of awakening the Kundalini energy. The divinity is not concerned with illusionary requirements of human for petty earthly things. Everyone and anyone cannot be initiated into this yoga system rapidly, because the mind of a person may not be able to sustain the force. Furthermore, the force may not even work in a person due to the lack of required condition in the mind. It is perhaps for this reason that existence of this system has been kept alternatively secret and public once in every 600 years, depending on the prevailing social conditions. This is something that is widely believed among the fraternity of the order of Shaktipat. Just imagine a situation where everyone is running to a guru for initiation into this yoga system when it cannot be granted. Here, the reader is requested to understand my bereavement. I wish it had not been this way. Alas, free human will has turned out to be only an illusion. This world is the creation of God. Other than absolute self-surrender to the Almighty, there is nothing else that can be done to achieve salvation. Only divine grace can save a person. This can be best understood through the following examples. A pig in the pit filled with mud doesn't like to get out of it until something pricks it hard enough. A pig in the pit filled with mud doesn't like to get out of it until something pricks it hard enough. A frog in a well thinks it has seen the whole world until the time someone throws it into an ocean. Similarly, human beings exist in a pit or a well called life. Now, something needs to happen to each to them for them to be able to comprehend the eternal absolute truth. Kundalini, or the cosmic energy, the supreme primordial force, does exactly that. The person in whom this energy has been awakened is dragged by force and shown the absolute truth. Unexplainable and perhaps irrational to modern science, Siddha Maha-yoga shines like the sun, showering knowledge and peace on to humanity. Let the whole world go to hell. Do not be concerned. You shall dwell alone in the cosmos forever. For your true nature is absolute truth, absolute existence, and absolute bliss. This is what Siddha Maha-yoga promises to humanity. I have made a feeble attempt in this book towards the fusion of science, philosophy, religion, yoga systems, and anything or everything else. I have opened the doors of my internal world, narrating my personal experiences from an altruistic point of view. I have bared my mind with humility and without any reservations.